Oh, hi, Juliet. Wait, no. I just want to pause recording a minute. Hold on, 2 ticks. My phone is not working. Juliet, can you hear me? Ooh. Okay, so a very, very warm welcome, everybody, to tonight's Monday, the 19th of November. Not quite sure how that happened, but it has happened. So this is where we start to take ownership of our business. We start to take control of our lives. We take 100% responsibility for our success and what we do on a daily basis to create that. So I am super excited to share with you Leadership Academy. Blew my mind. You know, we come to these things, don't we? And we come away and we are just motivated, and there are shifts beyond shifts that happen and occur. And for me, it was Sarah Dunning who really, I saw her at a different level. And I feel like because we were with her success line, and it wasn't an event that was run by the corporate head office. So she was very open and very transparent, which she is anyway, but more so than I've ever seen her before. So on that note, we had quite a few people in our team at Leadership Academy, and I'm going to give you I'm going to do some training, invite some of the new consultants who were there to just share a little bit, a couple of minutes, 3 to 5 minutes on what they felt of Leadership Academy, to really inspire you guys. If you've never been to one before, really, we run one a year. Okay, and there are also other ones that happen around, so you can go. They are open doors, by the way, and you really, again, cannot afford not to go, okay, because of what it can do for you and your business. So I'm just going to start off by, actually, I am going to go first and say that, I'm not. I'm going to get Lindsay Wills. I'm going to get this girl, powerhouse. She will complete district this month. She is just like blowing it out the water, area manager in the next 6 months. I have no shadow of a doubt. And I'm going to ask Lindsay, first of all, just to share with us her first time experience.
Thanks, Fiona. Yeah, so I was just saying, I thought to my head that basically it's my first Leadership Academy. I really had no idea what to expect. And I, like you said, was just blown away. It was just completely unbelievable, just absolutely inspiring, and everyone was just amazing. I think for me, what I can believe is it was just jam-packed. It was just one after another, people telling their stories of how they began, just like me, just like any other new consultants, and how they've worked through their personal development to be where they are now, and just what their stories. And it was just so inspiring, and just made 10 million notes, and I've come away feeling, on top of the world. And that's been absolutely great. It's just some key points for me was, like you said about Sarah Dunning, she's on another level. She is just amazing. And for anyone who hasn't obviously seen her, I would definitely recommend listening to her on SoundCloud, things like that, because she's just amazing. And she said to me, it's about being uncomfortable to be comfortable. And for me, that was just massive, because you have to push through your fears to get where you want to be. And I think that's the big step that I will be taking away from it. So yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yay, so brave. I just literally dumped it on these guys like I like to do, and not give them much preparation to say the word no. So they pretty much shock factor. Okay, done and dusted. Good girl, well done. Thank you, Lindsay. Okay, so going from what Lindsay said about stepping out your comfort zone. So inaction doesn't hurt right now. And I think that's what happens. So the longer we stay comfortable, the longer we don't do it. Every day, if you do choose inaction, because you get to decide, and if you've got pen and paper here, I'd like you to write this down. Is this taking me closer or further from my goal? Is this taking me closer or further from my goal? And you can write that down, put that by your computer, put it by your mirror, put it where you need to see it on your fridge, put it in your car, put it everywhere, because that's what you're doing. The daily disciplines now are going to show up in your business in the next 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 years, 22 years. And if you want that success, it is the compound effect. Darren Hardy If you've not read that book, it's a great book, and he talks about the way we build on these daily disciplines and the skill sets. So, okay, so when you eventually do decide to do it gets harder and harder, and so that can affect and weaken your belief. Okay, and a lot of it was about belief. So I'm just going to go and highlight a couple of things that I absolutely loved. All right, so pen and paper, here we go. So the Bank of England, okay, in the UK, this is for what you'd have to do. So we have got an asset. Okay, so we've got to get really good at telling the story. I'm going to share with you later on this call about what Sarah Dunning said to get really good to share the story. What we have, do not undersell Arbonne, because we have the future right here in our hands. So let's go through the interest rates in the Bank of England for you to get nearly as close as to what we can achieve. Danny went nation in 4 years. Okay, here we go. If you had £50,000 in savings, that means at the 4% interest rate, you would earn £133 a month. Okay. Now, if you had £75,000 in savings, again at the 4%, you would then earn £670 a month. So you're looking there at a strong district or a new area. If you have £500,000 in your bank account, you're looking at your interest being £1,333. So now we're looking at area manager. You would have to have £2 million in your account with a 4% to earn an RVP title, regional vice president paycheck of average £333. Now to be a nation earnings, which the average income as a national vice president in Arbonne is £13,000 a month, you would have to have £5 million sat in your bank account. Has anybody got £5 million in the bank account? No. Okay. However, do you think that you're going to get £5 million just in a job or doing what you're doing? But guess what? In Arbonne, you can get that paycheck, that asset, by working your business. Okay. So not yet, says Amy. That is powerful. Okay. So guess what? 50% of consultants sign up after the 5th exposure. Okay, that's really important to realize. 50%, okay? An average person will ask only twice. Okay, it's really important to know that. It's about timing, guys, okay? So if it's not right for that person, you can go back again. Always keep those doors open. So if 44% of people give up after their first follow-up, 44%, guys, and 92% of people give up after no results after the 4th time of asking, but yet 60% of people who say no to the 4th time will join on the 5th. So what does that say? Keep asking, keep sharing, don't be like doubtful or dubious. It's there, it's about them. It's not about you being the messenger, but you need to keep asking permission to go back again and again. And I do this, I've done this from day one. I'll say, can I come back to you? Is it okay? Because things may have changed in the next 3 to 6 months. And they always say, yes, why wouldn't they? So then I'll say, okay, I'll come back in 4 months. I put it in my diary and I'll have it. So when it comes in 4 months' time, I would have completely forgotten potentially about that person. Their name is there and I contact them. Okay, so the fortune is in the follow-up. So that's really good to know. Okay, so that was all about figures. So how you feel in your business reflects your business. Your feelings dictate your business. So if you're feeling low energy and you're not feeling good about yourself, guess what's going to show up in your business? Okay, so the feelings are really what's generating that. And comparison is the thief of joy. Do not compare. Okay, so a loser quits when they fail. A winner fails until they succeed. And we did this failing forward. It's all about saying you will fail forward gloriously, but it's the failing forward that grows you into that person to be able to promote you to the next level, because we're on a journey of growth. I like this. One of the girls said, I have a plan. Do you trust me? ? Universe. I have a plan. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I think that's true. I think if any of you have been here for a while, let's say some of you have been at a level for a while, it's like, you know, oh, I'm still here. Stop that. You know, I'm super excited because, you know, because we're going there. That's what your focus is on. Okay, and then they talked about trackers. Trackers are great. Why? Because they're black and white. So they show you if you're doing the things you say you're going to do. They have no stories attached to them. It's a number, not a story. So you can be so specific on your growth by following your tracker and your activity. So it is a contract with yourself. Your tracker is your contract with yourself. And again, how badly do you want this? We all joined for it and we all deserve it. So let's go achieve that. So I'm not going to ask the next person who was a new consultant first time at Leadership Academy. Where is she, Juliet? If she can unmute and just share with us her thoughts. You're still muted, lovely. Bottom left hand of the screen.
There you go. I'm just learning. Sorry, just finding my way around. Yes, thanks for that, Fiona. I had one of those situations where it was almost like I had a really busy weekend and you go to work and first thing in the morning someone says, oh, did you have a nice weekend? Yes. What did you do? And suddenly I thought, I can't remember. So I had a look at some of my notes because there was so much that I took out of yesterday. Actually, I was reminded straight from the onset, actually, that this business works because I went there in your white Mercedes. So that was a reminder straight away. Yes, I wrote so many notes yesterday, and I just wanted to have a quick look through because I took so much out of yesterday. The quality of the speakers was amazing. They were all first class, and the content too, and how they delivered it was incredible. You know, so it's quite, you know, it doesn't matter how many times you do it. It's quite brave to stand that up in front of a room full of people because it was absolutely packed, but the energy of the room was incredible. Yes, I'm just trying to cherry pick really. For me, it was attitude. It was about mindset, take action. You know, the obstacles that we put in our way, they're not really there. They're kind of the excuses that we're making up. So basically get rid of the obstacles because that is also a mindset. And just basically get on there and do it. And stop, you know, we all need to plan, we all need to think, but 20% of success comes from thinking. So the 80% comes from action. So let's just, you know, get on and do it and find your motivation. You know, we all said yes for a reason when we said yes to Arbot. And so remind ourselves why we said yes and, you know, what was our goal when we had that initial conversation and signed up as an IC. And, oh yeah, you know, to have, you know, it's good to have a goal, but maybe not to sort of focus on it too much, you know, and focus on too much on the promotion, because that will happen if you focus on your day-to-day and the fact of taking action and enjoying that as well. And if you're taking action and enjoying that day-to-day and you're putting in the quality and the quantity of work, the results will happen. It's about, you know, you can't make a cake without the ingredients. Let's focus on the quality of the cake and doing that, and you'll have a fantastic cake that come out the oven. And don't really try and reinvent the wheel either. That was something else that seems obvious once somebody's saying it. You know, there's a reason why this works for people. So don't start and think, right, okay, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do this differently? Is there a quick route to do this? You know, yes, there are, but the formula is there. So really take note on people around you that have got that experience and have got that success. So, you know, it's, you know, write your list, you know, have that willingness to take action and basically get on there and do it. And I liked Sarah Dunning said it's about the 5-3-5, and that is 5 messages, 3 new connections, 5 days a week. And if you're doing that consistently, the results will happen. So, and you are what you tell yourself. So we've all got to tell ourselves that we can do it, that we're amazing, and we radiate energy. It'll be contagious with the people that we speak with, and you know, we're all passionate, so radiate that passion, because that will people will recognize that and they will see it, and it will create a fantastic first impression. And, you know, like you said, Fiona, don't compare yourself to anybody, but have that belief that you can do it, and have that belief in your goal, have that belief you're, you know, even if it's small steps that you're going to take on your very first day of going out there, believe that you can make that first connection with somebody and have that conversation. But yes, as I said before, I love the energy, bringing the room full of success as well. That's proof in the pudding right there. But yes, there's so much that I could go on and on, because I took so many notes, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. And it's about having that attitude and that really positive, passionate mindset to be able to get on and do it. So
thank you, Juliet, that was great. Thank you so much. And Juliet's just scratched your district qual. She's like, I don't know, like 25 QB off or something like that, to complete next month. So excited. So you guys are all coming up, and you know, we love that, because you are the next generation of AMs, VPs, and moving forward to MVPs. So okay, so Sarah Downing first of all reflected on her journey in Arbonne, and she just said she didn't know what this is, but she decided that she was going to do it. And one thing about Sarah, oh my word, like she said, I was going to always do it, and even if it meant the death of me, I was going to do it. Now there's somebody who is completely 100% committed, to the point where she's having an Arbonne bug. So if you don't really know what the Arbonne bug is, first time somebody said to me, I didn't know what that was. So our logo here is the Arbonne bug. The double A stands for Arbonne Advantage. And she said she'll be having that on her coffin when she dies, which I think is a really good idea. So I'm going to have one too as well, by the way, because that's how much I am Arbonne, if that makes sense. And it takes that level, you know, it's that level of just love, pure love, you know, that's going to take you, it's going to get you through all the storms that you will be facing, because that's the adventure. So she said that, you know, she was going to learn any skill to make the business work. She was willing to do the do. She was willing to go through that pain, the pain of, you know, the pain of discomfort, that, you know, to make it happen. She had 154 no's in her first year and a half. So not one person joined her business, but she kept going. She never missed a training. She never missed AAC, not once. And she joined in 2008. She never missed a leadership academy. Now that's saying something, guys. And she says that's why all the VPs in the room are here, because they always show up. And actually, you know what? It's showing up in your business on a daily basis, even when you do not feel like it. Even if it's a rubbish, if you feel, you know, you just are, you've had the worst day, you still show up and do what you need to do. So she said that she is number 2, like she's the top earner, female earner, 5 wide in the UK, but actually she's only just behind Cecilia Stoll, because she will have, she said, I will have 6, 7, if not 8 next year, definitely 7 by GTC next year wide. Now Cecilia Stoll, who's 13 nations wide, earns $500,000 a month is her paycheck. She also said that, so she'll be, you know, her success line is the 2nd largest organization behind Cecilia Stoll. And she said that she has now 60 white Mercedes in her success line. So somebody who had 154 no's, look where she is now. And I think that is so inspirational too. And she's a very humble woman. She's softly spoken. She's Northern. And she comes with love. She shows up with that love, that deep, deep love of what she has and what she is, and the ambassador, you know, of this company she's representing. So she talked about the 3 C's, which is courage, consistent, and coachable. That's were her 3 C's. And she said, if you focus on that, you will build that your business to where you want to take it. Be brave by taking action. I know this was mentioned both by Lindsay and Juliet. Be brave and take action out of it, to step out your comfort zone. You know, have you honestly spoken to every single person that you have in your, that you know, that you've met in your whole life? Have you really gone to those people, every single one, and just, you know, asked them to take a look? Have you done that? Because if you sat here right now thinking of certain people who you haven't yet gone to speak to, because you're putting it off, you're putting them on your chicken list, then you need to do that. That's called stepping out of your comfort zone. If you can decide to make a decision today to become obsessed with Arbonne in the next 6 months, then you know what? You'll be ripping off that Band-Aid, that plaster. It's much easier than like that really hurts, okay? It pulls every hair in your hand. If you rip it off, then you know what? You're gone. You're in it. So decide to do the work, ... until, and do not get distracted by the results. Let me say that again. Do not get distracted by the results, because we know whatever you're doing now is going to show up in your business in the next 6 weeks. So if something is not happening now and you've been really busy in the last week, but you haven't done anything 6 weeks before, and you're wondering why I'm doing all this work and nothing's happening, look where you were 6 weeks before. It's called delayed gratitude. You need to keep doing it on a daily consistency basis. Back to the C, courage, consistent, and coachable. So she said that her success line, they did $2.5 million in sales, QV in sales last month. So it's about making it priority. And it's not, she said that, doing the series of, it's not to do with the skill set. It's all about the mindset. I love that. It's not to do with your skill set. It's all about your mindset. Because even though you don't have the skills when you start an Arbonne, but if your mind is in the right place, then you'll have, if your mindset is there, you will be coachable to learn the skills. Have confidence and assertion that you will find the answer, not be the answer. You will find the answer. I really like that. That's humble, I think. So over time, still today, she said she takes notes when she hears the presentations, because she's going to keep it fresh and she's going to keep emotionally connected. And Arbonne is a fast-paced, guys. It's moving all the time. The changes is happening all the time. So you've got to be, ahead with Arbonne as it moves, keeps moving forward. So you need to move someone emotionally to see your vision. And we've got to get really good at telling the story. So when you've been speaking to somebody, you know how sometimes you get somebody and they're just sat there and their hands are crossed and they're not really engaged, and you'll say, are you in? And they're like, yeah. And then you get the ones who are like, oh yeah, and they're agreeing with you, and they're like, oh, and then you ask them if they want to join a team, they go, no. And you're like, how does that work? So she said, always remember to say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not very interested and 10 being a lot, where are you right now? To the person with the sour face or the person agreeing, so you can gauge their map of the world. Because I feel like sometimes early days you guess a lot because you don't know what other people are thinking. So the easiest way to get over that is just to ask. Feel, felt, found. So use someone as an example. So it may not be your journey, but by attending the trainings, discover Arbonnes, listening to, like SoundCloud, Go for the Gold, Donna Johnson, somebody else has had a similar journey to that person. So you want to relate to their map of the world. So do whatever it takes to get you in the top 10%. Don't be lazy, she said. If I could show you how to find time, would you be open to learning? So most people's objections are because they think they don't have the money, the time, they don't know enough people. And we learn the skill set through GoPro, Eric Worre. So if you've not read that book, if you're new on the Zoom, it's a great one to have. But she always says, look, if I could help you find whatever the solution to that objection is, would you be open to learning how? And you just ask in a very casual way. And I know personally, I would get upset early days when people said, is it a pyramid scheme? I had a lady today I prospected and she said, oh, it's a pyramid. Still to this day. But now it doesn't bother me because I'm glad that they're being honest with me so I can answer that question, and I can come back with the answer that relates, to what they're thinking rather than they say nothing. So no matter what I say, all they're thinking it's illegal pyramid scheme. So I want them to open up to me. I'm not upset by that. I'm pleased that I can now help them with the answer. So she said, you've got to really listen to other people's stories. It really means engaging and find the point on the follow-ups. Basically, by listening, you then can give them, if I could show you what, so you're helping them to understand that what we have it could be for them if they decide. And again, it is their decision, not yours. So it's really powerful to repeat back what they have said. So let's get good at listening when we speak to people, prospect people, confirming what they are thinking by saying. So if they say, oh, well, it sounds really good, but I can't sell. Can't sell. So she said, I'll come back saying, so, okay, so can you just say, are you saying to me that you can't sell? And they'll say, oh, yeah, yeah. And then she'll say, okay, so I felt the same way too. This is your feel, thought, found. Feel, felt, found. I felt the same way too. But what I found is that it became more about recommendation. I wouldn't share these products with my friends and family if I didn't personally use them myself. And I was passionate about the results and that they were botanical, vegan products. So for me, it was sharing and helping people to be educated about their health. So that was great to get them to repeat to make sure that you understand, because sometimes what people say isn't what they mean. Isn't that really confusing? When they say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and then you don't hear from them and they go into the Witness Protection Act. And you think, well, they said to me, but yet they're doing something completely different from what they said. So I don't understand. And it's just to ask, and action speaks louder than words. So if they do go in the Witness Protection Act, then let them be. Okay, just maybe say, hey, I hope you're okay, missing you, I'm here for you, and that's it. Leave it always open for them. So I'm now going to stop and ask another gorgeous, does she mention Qual, and who was her first Leadership Academy, Amy. Could you come and just share with everybody what you thought? Hold on, you felt, found. Well, you're still on mute, my lovely. Yeah.
There we go. Hello. I think, yeah, I loved going yesterday. It's the first training that I've ever been to, and I did really enjoy it. It was great to just be with other people. Everyone's all really nice and normal. It's not some weird cult. It is a little bit culty, but it's like a nice cult, so that's fine. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was nice to meet some of the team. I think the main thing, all the speakers were amazing, obviously, but I think the main things I took away were the activity part of it. The fact that, I think as Juliet was saying, like 20% of it and the other 80% needs to be doing it, not thinking about it. So that was a big thing for me. And I think sometimes we trick ourselves into thinking that we are doing Arbonne when we're not really doing anything. Like, I've spent a lot of time watching a lot of videos, doing a lot of scrolling through stuff, and I'm not really doing what I should be doing. So that was definitely a big takeaway for me. What else? I think the consistency part of it as well, just to keep going. I think she gave loads of stats. I can't remember who it was. I think it's one of the first ones. Was it Daniela? About, like, you've got to keep asking people, because I think it's like 50% of people will join on like the 5th time. There was loads and loads of stats. Fiona will know them all, but yeah, there was loads. So it's just that, just because it's not right for someone, like when you ask them then, keep going, because it might be right. And I think the other thing is, don't care. Like, it doesn't matter if people are not interested. Like, it's our job just to share it. It's not our job to decide whether they want to buy the products, whether they want to join the business, but we have to share it and let them know, and not to sort of take it personally, just sort of move on. What else? The self-development part of it, obviously doing that every day, that's something I don't do, and that's probably something that I should be doing, so that was just reinforced that. I'm trying to think. Like what Fiona was saying as well, you've got to show up to the trainings. I think that was like a key thing, and I think going to the first one, it made me realise, like, it was just so good to see people at like every level. So listening to the new area managers, listening to the new regional managers, and listening to Sarah Dunning, it's just like, it just blows your mind a little bit, knowing that it's there for you if you want it. And I think also, I can't remember the woman's name, but she somehow built her business like when she moved to Italy, and she was depressed, her husband was depressed, like she didn't know anybody, and yeah, so it just makes you realise that you've just got to do it. And yeah, that was what I took away from the day.
I love it. Thank you, Amy. And talk about, people come and go. I hope Amy doesn't mind me sharing. Amy, when did you first join my business?
Oh, I've joined a few times, Fiona.
So when did you first join? Was about 8 years ago?
No, it was longer than that. It was 2008, because it was when I was at uni. So I joined them, and I did carry on doing it, just sort of friends and family while I was at uni. And then I got a full-time job, which has just taken over my life. I joined again, I think 2 or 3 years ago. I sort of missed the products and thought, oh, I should really have kept on doing it. And yeah, it was not happening with my job. It was just not possible. And then obviously changes with my job, and certain things that have happened with my job have made me realise I probably do need a plan B. So yeah, just certain things happening at certain times has made me think that, yeah, I really do need to just do it, do some activity.
But thank you for sharing, Amy, because you joined 2008, and then, like you say, 3 years ago, and then I got a text from Amy saying, I hate my job, I hate, and she's been working somebody else's dream, and she said, Fiona, I'd love to, do album again, but I'm scared because I wasn't successful last time, and I just said, Amy, honestly, how much did you work your business last time? Did you really do Arbonne? And she said, no. I said, well, let's do Arbonne, so that to me, thank you, Amy, because
you're welcome.
Thank you, my lovely. Thank
Am
you.
I off now? Can nobody see me anymore?
You're good. Okay, you can mute yourself, please. I had everybody the first time training, so brave on you guys, Lindsay, Juliet, and Amy, because I know you've never even done that before, so that was brilliant on our Zoom. But can I just say, it just shows you the power. Over 11 years, I've had people come join my business, leave, come back, and I've never fallen out with anyone. Like, at the end of the day, why would you do that? Like, you know what? We are all on our journey and our path, and I just stayed. The house stays. And just remember that, guys, you are here. And you know what? Like, emotions come and go, people come and go, but you stay. Always stay, because what you will create, your foundations, you will build. Okay. And obviously, so lovely to have Amy, and I'm always saying, so anybody who will have people who go leave the team, the business, and come back, and I tell you, it's more and more, because the world is changing and people do not want to be working with somebody else's dream and have no respect or recognition, or just, it's awful what's going on out there. So anyway, I'll get off that bandwagon. Okay, let's go back to Sarah. Okay, so she talked about, we must really work on, our limiting beliefs, because this is the stories that we keep telling ourselves again and again, and that's what's stopping a lot of people. So if people say, they don't find it easy to sponsor people, well, then that's a limiting belief, because that's something you are making up inside your mind. So let's re-engage that and say, I'm excited about meeting people in the future to sponsor, meeting people today to sponsor. You've got to shift that limiting belief, because it's only going on in your head. You are, the yes or no stories is attached to your answers. So, in Arbonne, that's when people say things like that, I know they need to read, they're not working on the personal development. If I hear people...
Fiona, can I just add something about the limiting belief thing that you just said about? So, on Friday and Saturday, or at least Saturday morning, I was feeling a little bit meh, not my usual. Generally, I'm sort of like up here, happy and shiny. And I could feel it coming on. I think, being a woman, you've got your hormones and that. So I think it's more related to that. And Saturday, I had a Christmas fair booked at school. And I thought, I can't be doing this fair in this mode. But because of the personal development, I knew that I had the power to change that. So once I'd set all my stand up and I was like, right, it's all done, just waiting for it to sort of open, my little pad of paper that I had ready to write down people's names and numbers, I just wrote down all the affirmations of how I wanted that day to go. And I had the best fair that I had. I had something like 15 names, which in the past I've had sort of an average of 5 names and numbers. And I was like, that's amazing. And I flipped it around, and then it kept proving right, because people would come and talk and be like, hi, would you like to try the festive hand cream? It's chai. Chucking it at them, and it went really well. And there were lots of people who had fantastic stands, little crafts and stuff that weren't engaging, they weren't doing well, whereas I was like, yay, I'm winning, because I'd flipped it around. I decided it was going to be a fantastic day, and it was. So
Thank you. Well done, Marie-Louise. That's amazing. That's you working in personal development, and I know you have. And, you know, going back to that decision thing, you could decide today that you're going to sponsor one consultant to join your team this month. If you've never done that before, make that decision and go and do it. That is a decision. It's a decision, you know, all the time. Are you, what, you know, we get to choose. You can't have a happy and a sad thought at the same time. You can only choose one at a time. So are we empowering or are we disempowering, you know, engaging or disengaging? Are we looking inwards, which becomes, you know, when people get depressed, or we outward looking and helping other people? You know, we get to choose that. So thank you. That was great. Thank you, Marie-Louise. Okay, so what you are thinking about is your manifestation. And I do know that a pre-manifestation will be your feelings. So your feeling state, because when people tell you this business doesn't work, or, oh, really? So what's your paycheck? And you've only just started an Arbonne and you haven't got your team maybe yet. You know, they need to see the evidence to believe the evidence. But even though it hasn't shown up yet, your belief when you start pre-manifestation will be your feelings, guys. Because you don't need to see it yet. You need to know that it's going to happen no matter what. So you feel that energy, they feel the excitement. And then guess what? The second stage, so pre-manifestation equals feelings, and the manifestation will be the sight. And that's when people see that. So they have to see that then to go, oh, okay, so yes, it does work. But you've got to know the stuff, the belief, the feelings has to be there first. Otherwise, you'll never manifest the white Mercedes and be an RVP if you don't feel that first, okay? So you are creating your own reality. You know, and because humans find this we kind of protect ourselves. So we almost get into, we don't want to hear the positive. It's sometimes easier to do the negative. But what we need to do is understand that we get to shift this. And like Sarah Dunning said, she was actually hypnotized. She went through hypnotherapy to get her to overcome public speaking, you know, for years. So there are those tools out there to help us, you know, to move forward, really. So she basically said, if you can find time in the next 3 days to rewrite 30 more powerful affirmations, and then rewrite that every 6 months, because your why is changing. So what you're achieving, because you're obviously manifesting it, pre-manifestation, then it will happen. So, you know, your why in Arbonne will change. I know when I first started Arbonne, £1,000 a month was going to be an incredible paycheck. And then when that happened, I had to move. I had to keep, you know, changing that as well. So affirmations, she said she did voice notes and she would repeat it, you know, she would like play it again and again when she was driving, when she had those little bits of time in the toilet, whatever, she would, you know, putting her makeup on, she would play her own affirmations pre-recorded. So your self-worth is the most valuable thing that we have in our business. Your self-worth, isn't that incredible? So accepting yourself, forgiving yourself, understanding yourself. The only competition you have is with yourself yesterday. I'm just going to say that again. So the only competition that you have is with yourself yesterday. And we talk about the present as a gift, you know, the present, the day, it's a present, you know, so that's why what you're doing now, you know, and don't compare. I mentioned that before as well. So timing and planning is essential. So, you know, she's talked about have to be disciplined with yourself. You have to be disciplined with other people. Now, we know that there's these dementors, sucking energy, you know, people in your life. If they're in your inner circle, guys, you move them to the outer circle, okay? You spend less time with them. If it's family, you can't really kind of like, you know, they're going to be there. But make sure that you limit the time with them, okay? And make sure that, you know, because your self-protection, remember, your self-worth is the most valuable thing that we have in this business. So okay, now this was really poignant. So she said, if you could find the time to do this every single day for the next 2 years, and it's simple what you're doing, okay? So you're reading, you're doing a training, an audio training, you're contacting 5 people a day, yeah, and messaging 3 people. Yeah, if you could do that 5 days a week, so if you could do that, or up it to, you know, 7 days a week, but for the next 2 years, you did this consistently, and I could guarantee that your paycheck would be £50,000 a month. So right here, right now, if you did the guaranteed you would be paid £50,000. So 5 messages, 3 new connections, reading, meditation, audio, if that's a part of your meditation, would you do it? You know, and if money's not leading you, people, would you do it? Or are you going to hang around to get how much in your bank account to earn 50,000? Well, you have to have what? Was it 5 million to earn like 13,000 a month on your 4% interest bank rates? Really? Come on. Don't undervalue or undersell Arbonne, guys. What we have got, you know, if it was guaranteed, you would do it. But what's missing is your belief. Your belief is a sound. You know, if it was a fact to me that I was going to be, this is what she said in EMVP, or I was going to do it, or I was going to die trying. If you decide today, shut the door, and she said, it is like shut the door, like that's it. I'm doing this every single day. If you make a decision that this will work, then guess what? You will get what it is you want. So this business is going to work because of you and only you. You know, the reality is nobody's coming to save you. I know that. No one's paying my rent. I mean, you know, my mortgage, my whatever. Nobody's there, you know, paying my bills. And are they going to be at my funeral? Don't know. Okay. So she said that she couldn't afford her £350 a month rent, you know, initially when she started Arbonne. She now owns 7 properties. She has a personal chef that comes every night to cook her dinner. Let's think about this, guys. You know, she's committed. She has done what she said she would do. And so many people here, you join this business with a huge, huge, big, clear vision, right? And then suddenly what happens? The waters get murky. Like, you have got it here. This business is simple. I'm not saying it's easy. The hardest thing is this, but it is a simple business model. So she said the feelings of Arbonne grow stronger in her every single day. And she lets other people steal her vision. She says, I feel that, you know, more and more in love with this business. And if you can see this company and understand and have a vision like me, like if I could give you my eyeballs and your eye sockets, what would it look like? Because you're missing a trick if you don't know what you can have in this business, what we can generate. The more you understand this company, the more you will love it. You have to get yourself motivated and passionate. You know, you have to remember your feeling state when you said yes to Arbonne before you got into the storm and maybe bashed around a bit and people said no and people laughed at you, you know, and people, whatever they did, that is not your job to care about what they think. You must not care what other people think. Okay, so this business is all about energy. You know, feel it and be on that vibe. So is Katie Zoldis managed to get on the Zoom? I haven't seen her. There's quite a few of us. She not on? No. Okay, if she was my 4th one. But that's okay. I did message her quite late. So, okay, so know that other people's opinions are just that. There's other people's opinions. Everything only has a meaning if you add a story to it. And again, if that is a story, then you begin to create a belief and it could potentially be self-limiting. So is this serving us? Is this moving us forward? Is this taking us to where we want to be? Like I said at the start, you know, is this taking me closer or further from my goal? That is so important to mind your mind. You know, we should have passion and vision. Okay, now you need, okay, this is huge. And I'm going to start doing this in DAs when I have one-to-ones. I actually took my notes with me. I'm a very scrubby writer. Very scruffy writer. But I read this to the person today. And I had a red in front of me. So she was like, impatient, tell me how it is, bang, 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 bang. And I knew she was all about the money because she's a red and all about goal setting. And I was like, I just threw it all out at her. But I read what Sarah said. And I'm going to change my verbiage to this. This is what we have. Are you ready? 1 in 8 people are now vegan or vegetarian. Remember, listen to this, guys. Recycling, you know, carbon neutral, all these things. There's an advert, M&S, Marks and Spencer's advert saying, we are working in the next 5 years to have a commitment to carbon neutral. They were taught, you know, she's like, what? We have been that for 38 years. they are just catching on now. That is amazing. You know, she said that Gwyneth Paltrow and Oprah, she listened to us, you know, recording, and they were talking about, you know, how much better the world was getting, you know, at understanding recycling and all of that. And we have been leading from the front for 38 years. She said that out there, the millennials are consciously consuming. And what that means, conscious consuming, sorry. So they want to know where their money's going. They have choices. Remember, Google is God, everybody. Go online, okay? We're not in the industrial age, we're in the information age. And the youngsters are conscious consuming, which means they want to know what they're spending their money on and what they're going to get for it. Because everything is more transparent. People are shopping local. So it's about saying, going back to local. People don't want to have the big stores. They want to support the local. Okay, we are offering that. You're a one-man band. You know, you're going to talk to people and share the products in the business. We are the #1 network marketing company that gives back. #1. You know, what connects us? You know, it's like, what connects you to this love of the business? If you don't love the business, you need to start probably loving yourself first, and the business, the love will come. But, you know, it's about the connection to the human soul. You know, sharing this business, this company, things are changing. The way that other companies are looking, or people are looking at how other companies treat animals. Yeah, they treat people. The way we look at the world is evolving. Arbonne has never tested on animals since day one. You know, Pet and Morgue gives us AIT trips, takes us to Jamaica, you know, Bahamas, Caribbean. They gift us that as we work our business. You know, be really clear about what you're sharing with this company. When you sit in front of somebody and have a one-to-one, you have to show people that what we have is absolutely incredible. And like Sarah says, no one has ever come to me in 10 years who I've spoken to and said, I have something better for you. There's nothing out there. Okay, so say it from the heart. Never ever underplay Arbonne. Do not make excuses. And don't get me wrong, I was a bit of a secret agent, closet agent at the start. You know, it's a bit like awkward and weird. And, you know, I kind of like went through the whole thing. I'm just talking to you because of Arbonne, not because I want to be your friend. But actually, Arbonne's made me have so many friends, because why would I share this with them? Because if you're not going out there meeting people and sharing about Arbonne, you'll never go out there and meet people, because you're not going to be sharing anything. You're just going to be in your own space, looking in, not looking out. She says a great business comes from love. So the average income, this is massive stats, guys, and I'm going to talk about this too. The average income in the UK is £24,000 a year. After childcare costs, that woman who is out there working day in, day out, will only take home £50 a month. Children, listen, she basically said, who is having to go back to work and put their children in childcare? You need to now write down some names, think about it, and go and contact them and share them with them exactly what I've shared with you today about how we can make a difference and how we can help them. Yeah, get good at explaining the concept of Arbonne. Get really good at explaining what is recurring income. Do you actually understand network marketing? And I think this is a massive shift because I didn't. Direct selling is so easy. It's product based, it's tangible, right? Again, this is going back to manifestation. If you see it, you believe it. But actually, multi-level marketing, it is an invisible profit system. Like Darren Hardy, that's a great, he talks about, we don't see online. It's not like you walk into a physical shop that you standing in with your Arbonne business with all your products, you're selling your we don't have that. So what we have to do is understand that, we need to understand that, this business model to share with people so they can get a glimpse of the power of an asset income. Not a linear income stream where you're trading time for money, one of you. And most people have only done that their entire life. So they don't really understand. I still have this woman today to me said, yeah, but she said, I'm too busy. And I said, well, you're always going to be too busy because it's only on you working when you get paid. And if you don't work, you don't get paid. So guess what? You know, you have only so many hours, but you have to work longer and harder to get, you know, because guess what? The rate that, you know, everything's getting more and more expensive, the economy. So if it's costing you more and you have to keep up with that, then you know what? Are you getting a pay rise? No. If you become a district manager in Arbonne and you get £500 a month, that's the average income, guess what? You've just given yourself a 10% pay rise if your annual income is £50,000 a year. Do you have a chance of having a 10% pay rise in a job? No. We really need to understand what we have here. You know, if you don't really understand network marketing, you must start getting the books and reading them. You really do. You know, Warren Buffett, he is the third wealthiest man in the world, owns Coca-Cola. That's a network marketing company that he's bought into and set up. Did you know that? Did you know that Donald Trump used to own a network marketing company? In fact, he poached my upline in 2007, 8, 9. He took away 2 nations to start his own company in 2009. That was actually Donald Trump, but that company folded. Did we know that? And actually, I'll tell you something as well. There was an interview done, whether you like or not Donald Trump, it doesn't matter, but where David Gray, I don't know, this famous guy, 9 p.m. Saturday night, big, like, you know, following in the States, and he was interviewing Donald Trump, and there was all kind of young kids, millennials in the audience, and he said to them, so what would you recommend for somebody to create an asset, to create an income, wealth, okay, that you own, that you don't own other people, you own? And Donald Trump said, I would recommend everybody to start a network marketing company. And everybody in the audience laughed. And he said, that's why I'm sat here and you're sat there. Do you think for all the knows that Sarah, you know, she's so humble, she wouldn't be pointing a finger at anybody? And don't do that, because you point your finger and 3 come back. But, you know, all those people who put her down and didn't believe her, this lady has a private chef. She owns 7 houses. Her business turns over $2.5 million, you know, dollars a month. She's on £75,000, probably her paycheck a month. We all have the same opportunity, the products, the same compensation plan, the same success. You know, all of us have that. But you've got to get really good at making people understand what we are, who we are, what we do. Get them engaged in a millennial, in your business of the 21st century. Because that's the future. And if you don't, somebody else will, because people are looking for that. So you've got to get good at sharing that and making people truly understand that selling products is not the asset that's going to give you that real income stream that we all joined Arbonne for. Okay. So would you like to get, and she says another thing, so anybody, would you like to get paid when you're sleeping? That's a fun question to put out there, isn't it? When you just prospect to somebody, hey, have you ever thought about being, you know, do you think it'd be fun to get paid when you're sleeping? I said that twice to this girl today. I love that. I was like, she's like, oh, hell yeah. You know, yeah, I do. Okay, great. You know, so an average person, you know, is not able to create an income like we can, guys. We know that, okay? What other options out there? How else can you create another recurring income that duplicates over time? You know, you've got, if you don't, you know, if you really get good at this, because it took me a long time and I wish I'd got good at it a lot quicker, and I really understood the power of this business, and I didn't, but you know, it doesn't matter. Because that's why if you have not learned the Discover Arbonne, you need to learn the DA. Because if you don't quite understand it, it's going to give you the confidence and the right words to understand it, and people will buy you with your vision and your belief and your feeling state as well, and your energy. So instill confidence to your absolute gut. So she said about this, have this confidence in your gut that you will be successful. You will be an executive national vice president in Arbonne. You have made the decision. You know, do not put your success onto someone else. Detach yourself from them and then let them decide. So that's the no's, okay? The people want to drag you down. Do not put your success onto someone else. detach yourself from them and let them decide. So if you want them to join your team because you need them, you know, to help you promote or to help, no. That's not about, it's, you know, it's about them, not you. So going back to listening to how we genuinely can help them with this business, from coming from love, pure love. Unshakable in your conviction is where you are going with this. And do not waste another second. And that is it. So I hope that you guys are feeling a little bit of what I feel like literally, I am so excited. Like, I'm amazed I haven't human combusted yet. Honestly, Nikki Marchin, I'm amazed you haven't human combusted, because I mean, it's just like we can't contain ourselves, right? Thank you, Amy. Please know that this is such an incredible gift that most people would dream of, only be able to dream of, because they don't know what this is. And guess what? It's your job to share this gift. Give them that. If I was to give you a Tiffany box now, you would know that was, you'd be like, oh my God, silk white bow. Open up the box, look in the box, take the gift out the box, put the gift on. That's your Arbonne business in a box. Make sure when you speak to them, it's like a Tiffany box. That's, you want to get them excited. You want them to understand. You want to, you know, come listen to them and say, and ask them fear, thought, found, and then repeat what they've said and said, if I can show you a way, you know, would you trust me enough? Would you follow me? That's when they're opening the box. Then they're lifting the lid off, and now they're looking in the box, and you're saying, let me show you, you know, a system that's duplicable. And that's when the personal development starts, and they reach in. Yeah, then they take that out. Then they have an ID, but until they own it, put it on, they're wearing it, they become it, they will never be that person in control of their future and their success if you don't give them, empower them to be an independent consultant and to learn and to grow into that beautiful space they should have been, you know, a long time ago. So I wish you all an incredible, oh my God, like we're going on another Zoom now, 9 p.m. Thank you everybody for coming on. Thank you so much for my beautiful trainers. Thank you so much to Lindsay and Juliet and Amy, because that was really brave of you, and I so appreciate you. And I'm watching you girls all grow district this year. Thank you so much. Mwah. Night, everyone.